Lesson 3.8 is modeling tenths with fraction circles. So the focus in this lesson is for you to be able to solve number story involving fractions, to experiment with fraction circles, for you to compare decimals, and for you to compare the decimals and fractions in tenths. But first, let's start with our mental math and fluency. Again, a good review for you looking at numbers in expanded form. Remember, I want you to write them in standard form. So how would you write 5 100ths plus 8 ones? I'm hoping you're realizing you would have wrote it as 508. The next one, remember this is expanded form. You're writing it in standard form. 4 thousandths plus 3 hundredths plus 7 ones. You should be thinking, I write that as 4, comma, 3's in the hundreds place, so 3 would be next. There's nothing in the tens place, so a 0, and then 7 in the ones place. So 4,307. And the final one, 2 thousandths, 6 hundredths, 9 tens. Notice there aren't any ones, so you would write it 2, comma, 690. So 690. So 10 preschoolers shared 2 liters of fruit juice equally during morning snack. How much juice did each student get? You're going to use your fraction circle pieces, or you can use drawings to help you solve the number story. So the first thing you're going to do is, I would make 2 liters of fruit juice look like 2 circles. And granted, your circles should look way better than my circles because you actually have something you can trace around, where I'm doing it free-handed here. Okay, and I would make, if it's 2 liters, each one of these represents, so the one circle equals 1 liter. I'm going to divide each into 10 equal parts. You might ask yourself, why 10? Well, because it said I have 10 preschoolers who are sharing these 2 liters. So if I'm dividing it into 10, I'm going to first cut both of them in half. Then I'm going to cut them kind of kitty-cat corner to remember I'm free-handing this, so this may not be perfect, which they definitely won't be perfect. So I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, and then 4, 5, which means there should be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sure would have been a lot easier if I could have cut that into 12. Again, I'm going to try to do it as best I can here. So be patient while I cut this one also into 12. I'm going to put the number 1 here. I'm going to skip and do just the odd numbers on this one. Good. Okay, so I'm going to divide the preschoolers into 2 equal groups of 5. If I have 10, that means half of them shared each one of these 2 liters. So I have 5 preschoolers. Remember, these are my cute little preschool people, and these are my little drawings for my people. Each group So this 2 liter is shared by those 5 students, and this 2 liter is shown and is shared by these 5 students. Whenever you come across a word problem, it is wise and very much encouraging you to draw out what it's asking you, because then you for sure know exactly what you're doing. All right, well, if I have 5 preschoolers sharing, how many did we say they were in all? Well, we said 10. So hopefully you're noticing I'm putting in and plugging in the even numbers now. I know just by looking at this that this student would get these 2, and this student would get this fraction of it. This student would get these 2. This student would get 6 and 5, and this student would get 3 and 4. So, how much did each student get? Well, if I divide it by 5s, this is by 10s, each one is getting 2 out of 10. This one got 1, 2 out of 10. This student got 1, 2 out of 10. And if that worked for these 5, that also is going to work for these 5. So each group got 2 tenths per child. All right? 2 tenths, if you look at that, into 2 tenths, we can divide those equally into fifths also. So 2 tenths, we're looking at equivalent fractions here. Half of 2 is 1, and half of 10 is 5. Let's check it. 5 times 2 is 10, and 1 times 2 is 2. So 2 tenths equals a fifth. So how much juice did each student get? You could have either written 2 tenths or 1/5. So how many, excuse me. So there was, so now we're looking at 3 tenths. Remember, this is our ones place. Once we put the decimal in, we're using the words tenths. Notice that has a THS on it. If there was a number, this would be the tenths. If there was a number after the 3, that would be the hundredths. And it's the word hundred. And if you look at the front of our room, I actually have the magnets up there that you can see visually. It says hundredths. So if we're to the left of the decimal, we would just be looking at 10, 100, thousands. But once we go to the right of the decimal, we start doing tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Okay? So if you had 3 tenths versus 8 tenths, how is each decimal read? 3 tenths and 8 tenths. Which is greater, 3 tenths or 8 tenths? Well, again, if you have 3 tenths, you have 3 out of 10, 3 tenths. If you have 8 tenths, you have 8 out of 10. Which one would you have more? You would have 8 tenths would be your bigger number. So 3 tenths is less than 8 tenths. So write a fraction and a decimal below this circle. We are looking at Math Journal, page 89. So I'm going to help you with this first one. Okay? So write a fraction and a decimal below. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how many pieces this circle is broken into. How many pieces are colored in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8/10 of the circle is colored in. How do I write that as a decimal? I don't have any holes, so that's a 0. Now's my decimal point. This first place is the 10ths place, so that is where my number goes, 8/10. Don't forget, we could cut these in half. 8 1/2 is 4, and 10 1/2 is fifths. So an equivalent name for 8/10 also would be 4/5. I want you to go ahead and finish 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 through 14. When you're finished with that, I want you to bring it back to me so I know for sure that you understand what you're doing, and I can check it over and clarify anything that needs it. So pause the recording now, please, and do Math Journal, page 89. If you have the recording back on, that's telling me that you have stopped back and I have double-checked Math Journal, page 89 for you. And again, all I'm doing is showing you what that Math Journal, page 89 looks like. I should have checked it. We should have gone over it, and then I want you to go to Math Journal, page 90. So Math Journal, page 90 is math boxes. It is not rugs and fences, the games that we will be playing. It's looking at circling the obtuse angle. And remember, down in the corner on Math Journal, page 90, if you forget what the word obtuse says, it tells you where to look in your SRB, your student reference book, so that you can look it up to help you remember that. When you finish Math Journal, page 90, I want you to bring it back to me so I can double check it quick. When I give you the okay and you've done that correctly, then I'll give you the final step for this lesson, which is Math Masters, page 124. So pause the recording now, do Math Journal, page 90. When you bring back that to me, make sure you get Math Masters, page 124. And when you complete that, turn it back into me also, so that I know that you have mastered and understand the skills that were taught in this lesson. Thank you.